Hello, and thank you for exploring Lakehead International's videos. My name is Jordan, and I am the International New and Social Media Officer. I'm also the host of the Lakehead International Live series, a fun and informative way for you to connect with current international students, professors, and ask questions about admissions and everything Lakehead. You are about to watch a recording from one of our previous live sessions. If any questions arise throughout the video, please do not hesitate to comment below. If you would like to check out some of our upcoming live sessions, please head over to our website at lakeheadu.ca/international-live. Let's begin. Hello and good morning. Welcome to another Lakehead International Live. My name is Jordan Ball. I'll be your host today. I'm joined by two special guests from the Faculty of Science and Environmental Studies. But before we do introductions, I want to say thank you to our audience for joining us, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, your evening. We appreciate your time, and we hope you're ready to learn more about applied life sciences and biology programs here at Lakehead University. On that note, I will begin introductions. Once again, my name is Jordan Ball. I'm the International New and Social Media Officer. I have the pleasure of hosting live events like today. I run our website as well as our international social media channels and the Global Ambassador Program on our Thunder Bay campus. On that note, I'll pass over to Dr. Schraft, who's going to introduce herself, and then we'll introduce Dr. Algar.
Hello, everybody. My name is Heidi Schraft. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Biology, and I'm also the program coordinator for all the applied life sciences offerings in Thunder Bay and in Aurelia.
Awesome, thank you. And I'll pass over to Dr. Algar.
Hi, everybody. I'm Adam Algar, and I'm a faculty member here in biology, and I am an ecologist and evolutionary biologist.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us, to both of you. It's a pleasure having you. I'm excited about today's session, where we are certainly going to dive deep into applied life sciences and biology here at Lakehead University. More specifically, we're going to cover some upcoming events. I'll do a brief overview of Lakehead University. Then we're going to chat about the program offerings, unique learning opportunities, success stories, career opportunities, and outstanding alumni. So we have quite a bit to get through.
Thanks very much, Jordan. I guess I'll start, Heidi, and then I'll talk about biology first, I guess, and then you can jump in with applied life sciences. So biology, yeah, I mean, biology here at Lakehead is really diverse. You know, we're not a huge department, but we're powerful, and we cover everything from, you know, the inner workings of the cell and the genome right up to understanding patterns of biodiversity, the origin of species, and how things like climate change are affecting species. So we have something for whatever aspect of biology that you're interested in, and you really have that opportunity here in biology to specialize and concentrate on those aspects of biology that may interest you the most, whether that be more like on the genetic genomics side, or on the, say, ecology side. So it's a great program where you have that diversity, but also that opportunity to specialize. And so, yeah, I'll let Heidi talk a little bit about applied life sciences.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so applied life sciences is actually a specialized program that sits within the Department of Biology. And what's special about applied life sciences? There's two things. One, within the discipline of biology, the program focuses primarily on the cell molecular aspects of biology. So if you see that fieldwork there, people out in the water with nets, etc., in applied life sciences, you can take these types of courses, but you don't have to. Instead, what we do in applied life sciences, we focus on lab-based research. The other unique aspect of applied life sciences is that it's an interdisciplinary program. So we draw heavily on other departments for courses, one of them being chemistry. So you will get a lot of biological chemistry courses that you'll be taking and lab experiences there. And we also draw on anthropology, to look at human aspects of sciences, particularly evolutionary aspects, like looking at evolution from a human perspective.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing that introduction. I also wanted to note here for our viewers, the photo you see and the photos you see throughout today's presentation are actually of Lakehead or our partner institutions. And so this is actually on the Thunder Bay campus, taken in what we call Lake Tamblin. So it's actually a man-made lake right at the heart of our campus, and it often lends well to our professors who are looking to do field work or lab work where they actually can go out into the nature of our beautiful campus and utilize it to their best ability. And so these students, I don't know quite what they're doing. I'm a proud graduate of our business program here at Lakehead University, but that's why we bring the experts in to shed some light on sort of what these experiments might entail, but also what your day-to-day might look like in terms of that mix of theory and hands-on practical or experiential learning. So I will question our panel. Do we know sort of what's going on in the photo here?
Yeah, I can speak to that. I mean, these students, so there are like you said, Jordan, in Lake Tamblin, and they have definitely been sampling, catching the invertebrate animals that live in the sediment or the muck at the bottom of the lake. And so what they're holding is a kick net. So you hold that into the bottom and basically push sediment mud into it. And then all the invertebrate animals get trapped. And so they may be doing that. And then you can bring them out and identify them back in the lab. And they're doing that for a couple of reasons. One, they may be interested in the diversity. So which species are there, how they're coexisting, but also the different species that you can find in the bottom of lakes are sensitive to different contaminants and pollution. So they're really good bioindicators of the health of an ecosystem. So they may be looking for particular species that may indicate that yes, the lake is healthy, which we hope so, and it is. Or also if you have the lack of those particular species, it can indicate what may be off in terms of water quality. So there's a really kind of discovery, kind of curiosity based about what is actually living here and surviving, and also this really important application of using these animals as indicators of health of a system.
Awesome. Good to know. Heidi, I'm going to pass it back to you as we chat a bit further about applied life sciences at Lakehead Georgian. So before we begin that, I do want to share with our audience. So Lakehead University and Georgian College, both located in Ontario, actually formalized a partnership a number of years ago where we would offer both degree plus diploma programs. So what that means is in the span of 4 years where at Lakehead University, a typical bachelor's degree is completed in 4 years, especially if you're doing an honors. So with that being said, when you do a Lakehead Georgian degree, you're going to receive a diploma from Georgian College and a university degree from Lakehead University, all within 4 years. And so that does happen on our Aurelia campus. I'm going to pass over to Heidi to chat a bit more about that program.
Yeah, it's a unique partnership we have with Lakehead Georgian, one that we are quite proud of. So the Georgian College is close to Aurelia. It's about a 20-minute drive. And you may or may not know, but what the purpose of colleges in Ontario is that they prepare students with hands-on experiences. So Georgian College has a diploma in biotechnology / health. So graduates from that diploma, when they go to the college only, they take a 2-year program. And when they graduate, they are basically employment ready. They get a lot of hands-on work experience with the types of equipment, analyses, etc., that would be done in industrial or business type labs. What would those labs be? It would be pharmaceutical industry, for example. In Canada, recently we have approval for cannabis being legal, and all the cannabis production now happening in Canada needs quality assurance. So a lot of work employments there. So when you're taking applied life sciences within the Lakehead Georgian program, you will do an integration of both Lakehead University Applied Life Sciences courses and the applied college courses. So when you graduate, you will not only have an honors BSc, you will also be college level employment ready, which we feel is a better employment readiness than having a bachelor's or honors BSc quote unquote only, because the research or the lab experiences we do in the bachelor's is much more academic and research emphasis and less industrial emphasis. So that's an advantage if you're really keen on being employment ready after that. Joint program is highly recommended. It's the way when you study there, you will spend 2 years at the Georgian College campus, residence provided there. You will take both college and university courses during those 2 years. And then the second 2 years you will spend at the Aurelia campus, also residence provided then at the Aurelia campus, where you will take university courses only.
Awesome, good to know. So chatting a bit about applied life sciences, we're first going to look at the undergraduate stream. So where you are seeking a bachelor's degree, you are a high school student leaving high school for the first time or coming to a university for the first time, you're going to be seeking an undergraduate degree. Potentially if you're a college transfer or you've already completed some undergraduate university courses that you're in your home country and you're looking to transfer. I see we have a question about that in the Q&A right now, so I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. This is your first year at a glance as an undergraduate student. I'll pass it over to Dr. Algar to kick it off with biology and chatting about what those first year courses entail, what are the topics we discuss, all that sort of things that you can anticipate coming up in that first semester, if not the second semester as well. And then we'll come back and we'll chat with Dr. Schraft about applied life sciences.
Sure, thanks very much. So yeah, your first year. So if you do join us, which we hope you do, I mean, what we really view the first year as trying to achieve, I would say really three things. And I'll talk a little bit about kind of what the specific courses that you can see on the screen in front of you. But first of all, what we want to do is kind of start setting those fundamental kind of knowledge base and skill set that we think every biologist needs in order to go on, not just to kind of upper year courses, but have that fundamental understanding to give you the background in the diversity of biology so that you can specialize in future years. And so this involves specific biology courses. So you can see in front of you. So if you've looked at the calendar for biology from previous years, you'll see that there's a course called plant biology and animal biology. We've changed those up. So we have new offerings for our first year, which I think we all think are really exciting. And they'll still incorporate both plants and animals into these courses, but really focused more on kind of the conceptual biological concepts. So we have this introduction to molecular and cell biology, and an introduction to ecology, evolution, and biodiversity. And both of these courses are really broad overviews of those fields. So you'll cover, everything from the in intro molecular and cell, from the fundamentals of DNA to the structures of the cells and the main functions of the cells, and in ecology, evolution, and biodiversity, everything from kind of competition in ecological communities to evolution by natural selection. And the idea there is to give you this broad overview. So you're not going to go into the depth of these topics, but in ensuring that you have that breadth of knowledge, so that when you get into second year, you'll take those topics that you've just scratched the surface of in that first year and be able to get more in depth into those topics. In addition to those biology courses in the first year, you'll also see some chemistry offerings. So, chemistry and understanding of the fundamentals of chemistry, no matter what branch of biology you're in. And Dr. Schraft will talk more about this when she talks about applied life sciences. But even in the more kind of in the biology program, you need to understand chemistry to understand biology. So we make sure that you have that basis in the first year. And similarly with mathematics and understanding calculus, these will ensure that you have those tools to understand the biological processes and content kind of going forward. So that's like the core of the first year. You also have, which is not listed here, but you have the opportunity, you will take kind of what we call elective courses. So where you can really choose to follow your interests. So in that first year, you'll have to take some science electives that are not biology. So you can choose from everything from geology and the engineering courses, anthropology, some of the geology, geography, any field of science that you're interested in. You can look at that list. And so you can really also kind of supplement your biology interests with other interests. And you have to take some non-science electives as well if you choose. So if you have an interest in literature or history, you have that option. But really, it's important that to have that kind of broad, well-rounded, I think, knowledge, and you can pursue your interests. The other thing about biology is, it's not just sitting in a giant lecture hall. In fact, we have very few, really no giant lecture halls compared to many other programs at other universities. We have, you may have up to 100, 200 students in a first year class, which is quite small as far as first year courses go. So you really get that kind of more personal opportunity to get to know your professors and your instructors in that lecture context. But also, we really believe on getting you into the lab right away. So not just sitting, taking notes in the classroom, but getting in the lab, doing practical work, getting outside potentially, certainly in those first couple of years, in that first year, so that you get that kind of start getting that hands-on experience, not just hearing about biology, but also working with it and learning it, and getting to know our great team of laboratory technicians and graduate assistants that help teach those. And there you'll be working in smaller group, much smaller kind of class sizes. So again, you can get that kind of get to know not just your peers, but also your instructors and talk to them. And then, just say as you move through the subsequent years, those class sizes get small, and you really get that opportunity to get to know your professors, your technicians, and your graduate teaching assistants. We're not just faceless people that disappear at the front of the at the end of class, where we get to know our students, and you get that kind of small class interaction, lots of discussion and new ideas going around. And again, those practical skills and the theory that you get. So we have a great mix of that, and we want to start you off with that right away, with that experiential learning. Whether you're interested in getting your hands and feet muddy out in the field, or working in the lab, we have both of those, and they're a great balance and really complement each other well.
Awesome. I certainly like to hear that there is that flexibility with the electives to sort of hone your own passion. So whether your career outcome is ideally within the health sciences field, maybe you'll take your physics courses there to get a head start on that topic, or whether you want to speak to your passions within business. I'm a go-to person. You can always hit me up on social media. I manage the Lakehead International social media, so you can send me a message over there, ask about the business program, all that sort of stuff. I don't want to steal the thunder from Heidi, though, to chat about applied life sciences, so I'll pass it over to her to chat more about first-year courses at a glance.
Yeah, so when you compare the biology side and look over to applied life sciences, you can see that a lot of it is actually the same, right? So even in applied life sciences, you will start off with getting a solid foundation in biology, both the molecular cellular aspects that we then focus more on as we move up in years 2 to 4. But we also want you to have a solid foundation in ecology, evolution, biodiversity, because in your upper level courses, you will be taking biology courses, or be able to take biology courses that integrate the two ideas. And for that reason, you got to have your foundation even going into the field in year 1. Then the chemistry looks the same. And the calculus is also required for both programs. What's different is that in applied life sciences, we emphasize that students do take required first-year physics, because physics is a foundation for so many processes in biological systems. So we have then an upper level course in biological physics, if that interests you. We have upper level courses in medical imaging that rely heavily on physics foundations. And then you see that you will also be taking a first-year anthropology course, where you learn about the anthropology perspective and the field of anthropology. Because again, in your upper level courses, you will learn about human evolution from an anthropology perspective. And there you will be dealing a lot with archaeological sites. There is very unique customs and things that need to be done when you work in the anthropological field. So we feel it's important for you to get that introduction to that area of anthropology, of the human sciences. And we find feedback from students in the applied life sciences program that many actually appreciate that integration of the biological, chemical aspects with the anthropology, and we see a number of students in their final years actually doing honors thesis in the area of anthropology.
Awesome. And one thing to note here is that with your biology and your chemistry courses, you're going to certainly have corresponding lab components with many of them. And then also with your calculus courses or your math courses, you may have tutorials in addition to the in-class lectures that will provide you the opportunity, of course, to study topics they may be considered a little more challenging, but also you'll get more opportunities to interact with your professors, your teaching assistants, your classmates. And I think that talking about biology and just courses here at Lakehead in general, we are very proud to have a really small student to professor ratio. So for our Thunder Bay campus, for every 15 students, we have one faculty member. On our Aurelia campus, for every 13 students, we have one faculty member. And over 90% of our classes are less than 60 students. And with that being said, I can speak to sort of the student experience being in business, which is a very popular program here at Lakehead. You certainly have larger classes. You have 45, 50 students in one class in your first year. But then as you get into second, third, and fourth year, as you start to continue to specialize and you really focus your degree on where your passions lie, very similar to what we've just talked about in applied life sciences and biology, where you are going to have the opportunity to focus in on different passions you may have. When you get to those upper year courses, you're going to often find yourself in classrooms where you're one of 10, 15, 20 students in many cases. And that opportunity to interact with your classmates, first and foremost, where you're going to establish that support and that network where you can fall back on maybe a little, but also the connection that you'll build with your professor. They're going to get to know your first name. You're going to get to know their name very well. And it will build that relationship where, of course, down the road, if you need maybe recommendations, if there's job opportunities on campus and they know about your work effort in the classroom, they may recommend you. So we always like to talk about the small classroom experience and why it's so important. But I think it's always understated and you truly can't experience it until you come to Lakehead. That's why we have panels like the student panel coming up in a couple of weeks where we chat with students and ask their own feedback on that. Changing courses a bit here and looking to our graduate students, so those students that are pursuing a master's in science with biology potentially. We do have a thesis-based option where the prescribed course is simply biology graduate seminar 50-10, and then 2 one-semester or half-credit courses that are recommended by your professor. I'm going to pass over to Heidi. I'll see if you can maybe chat a bit about that graduate studies. And then, of course, maybe the timeline, the research areas, that sort of stuff. Oh, it looks like you're muted there, Heidi. Sorry.
It sent me a big thing on my screen too. So graduate studies is after you finished your 4-year honors bachelor's of science and you want to continue on. Graduate studies in biology is a research-based masters that you would be doing. That means you will spend most of your time or almost all your time working on a research project in the lab of your biology supervisor, and the project would be in the area that your supervisor works on. So it could be with Dr. Algar in ecology evolution. In theory, it could be with me. I don't have research going on right now, but it could be I'm a food microbiologist, so it could be doing microbiology research in a lab. So in the biology department, we have a wide breadth of opportunities. And then the coursework that you would be doing is just 2 grad level courses. So that would be just mostly lecture type courses, and you will take a seminar course where you learn about presentation skills. You will learn how to write research proposal, those types of ideas. Crucial to get admitted into a thesis-based biology master's program is that you do find a supervisor who is willing to take you on. So it's not enough to have the marks and the background. The challenge is to find a professor in the Department of Biology who has funding and projects available to take you on.
Awesome. And for those who may be wondering, how do you go about that? So if you haven't yet applied to Lakehead University, but you're considering an application, you're considering a graduate level course here, to find supervisors, it's very easy actually to through our faculty directory. You can find every person that's associated with each of our departments here on campus. With that being said, also, if you visit our graduate studies page, you can locate our supervisor finder. And that will also list current active research areas as well as supervisors associated with each of those areas. It will make it easier for you to at least determine whether or not there's going to be a good fit for you here at Lakehead University. I'm going to take this opportunity really quickly to answer a few of the questions in the chat, going back to our sort of undergraduate focused studies. It says, do you do upper level transfers into undergraduate third year? And what are the requirements from an international student for biology? So we do have select pathway agreements with typically Canadian institutions and colleges, with that being said. So if you have a 3-year diploma, we do typically have articulations with those colleges. We do have that all listed on our admissions website. I do not have it up right now, and I can't certainly say exactly which colleges and which programs we do accept into those transfers. With that being said, if your credentials are completed internationally, most likely we do not have a formalized partnership or articulation agreement for those institutions. However, we will consider you for transfer credits. So if you do have courses that you've completed at the post-secondary level, you can certainly provide course descriptions and course outlines to our admissions teams, and they'll work with our departments to verify whether or not you will have any ability to transfer some of those credits. Typically what we will see, though, if you're not doing one of our transfer pathway agreements, your transfer credits will not transfer 1-for-1, so you won't be moving into the third year of an undergraduate degree program. You'll most likely be moving into first or maybe second year with a few of your electives already filled in, and you're going to have to complete most of Lakehead's mandatory or prescribed courses in that degree.
I can maybe complement a little bit. I see a lot of transfer students either from Canadian universities or international universities. So what happens in applied life sciences, and I think it's very similar in biology, when you do get those transfer credits, you may have a mixture of credits for courses that are required in second or third year, but you may lacking some of the first year foundations. So what this will then mean for you is that your path through the curriculum is not going to look like it's described in the calendar. In first year, you do these courses, in second year, you do these courses. You will be taking a mixture so that in the end, you will have all the course requirements. And what we do at Lakehead University, we have program coordinators and academic advisors. So I'm the academic advisor for applied life sciences. We have biology academic advisors. So once your transfer credits have been set by admissions, they will then show, you will already have a Lakehead transcript that shows these courses as a transfer credit. Then you're very encouraged to meet with the program academic advisor to then discuss your individualized pathway through the program to meet graduation requirements. And at that point, we can determine how long this will take you. What we cannot do is we cannot tell you that before you apply and before you are admitted, because it's not the academic advisor's job to just say, yeah, you get credit for this and that. That needs to happen first. So apply, submit all your credentials, and then meet with the program academic advisor that you want to study in.
Awesome, good to know, thank you. Another question we have is a student that recently got admitted to our Honors Applied Life Sciences program. Congratulations, first and foremost. They would like to know a bit more about the co-op program and whether or not it's mandatory or if it's something that they can opt out on. So with Applied Life Sciences, we do not offer the co-op education program. You'll know whether or not there is co-op available in your program. If you check out our website, it's clearly stated on all of the programs that it's available to. Also, if you visit lakeheadu.ca/COOP co-op, you can go to their website and they list all the programs it's eligible for. for our programs that do offer co-op, it is typically fully voluntary. So it's something that you can do and something you don't have to do. We certainly encourage it. We know that it has strong outcomes, and we often see our co-op students earning while they learn, but also securing full-time jobs, summer jobs from that same experience. That's not to say, though, that in programs that do not offer co-op, that you're not going to get valuable experience, whether it's through internships, whether it's through research projects, community engagement. There's a lot of research that's happening here at Lakehead University, and especially at the undergraduate level, where we always are involving our undergraduate students in an experiential learning opportunity at some point during their four-year degree here at Lakehead University. So with that being said, certainly I encourage you to explore further with applied life sciences. If you do stick with that program, co-op won't be an option, but it may sound like you aren't necessarily opposed to not taking co-op. So that answers the few open questions we have. Next, we have a special highlight chatting a bit more about our natural outdoor laboratories and classrooms. So I know we did talk about this already, how the McIntyre River runs through our Thunder Bay campus. And then at the heart of our campus, we have Lake Tamblin, which provides both research and faculty the opportunity to actually get hands-on in an experiential learning opportunity right here, footsteps from our doors, essentially. So I will say and note here that located at the Lake Tamblin is also a dam, including a fish ladder for marine life to travel upstream and past the concrete dam. This space also doubles as a unique learning opportunity for opportunities where animal-focused students and places for students to take a quick study break, of course. So I personally love Lake Tamblin, especially in the spring and summer as nature comes alive again after a winter. You can hear all of the sounds of nature, but also the river running once again, and starting to see some of those outdoor classrooms come back to life. It's really great. I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Algar to chat more about this if you would like to, and then Heidi, of course, if you would like to jump in as well, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, thanks very much. I mean, I think this is one of the best things about Lakehead. One of the things I love about it the most is that we are surrounded by nature here. And so it provides an opportunity to get out into this living classroom and learn from the natural world, both research and teaching. Jordan mentioned Lake Tamblin and the river. We're right next to Lake Superior and many other lakes. We're right on the boreal forest here, one of the largest and most important forests in the world in terms of kind of carbon storage and planet for the planet. And so we have this just, it's just literally out our back door. So, I can talk in my lectures, I talk about, how different species can coexist with each other and trying to survive different environments. And then we say, right, let's just walk outside the classroom door and get out there and let's actually have a look at what's going on. And so we have that opportunity on campus, but also in the environment more broadly to get out in the field. We always talk about getting your feet muddy and doing that. Although, there's something for everybody in that. We have just a few hours to the west of us, the Experimental Lakes area, which is the world leading research institution in understanding lake ecosystems and lake biology. And we have an opportunity to say, in upper year, we have a field course where you can actually go out to this world-class research institution and actually, spend a week residential field course learning about the ecology and science, aquatic science of these lakes. So we have those kind of hands-on experience and this real link between the field and the lab to complement each other with practical work. So I think it's really like unparalleled opportunities here. I could talk about it forever. I'm a reptile and amphibian expert. And so I do my research, my graduate students study the frogs around and the effects of climate change on those frogs here in Northwestern Ontario. So yeah, I love getting out and observing things and doing science out in the outdoors. If it's not your thing, of course, we have the labs as well for the inner. And if you like both, well, we have that opportunity as well. So.
I was going to note the fact that essentially some students may look at this and go, oh gosh, I can't spend all day, every day outside. That's not the case necessarily. You're going to have plenty of work in the lab, and you're going to get to experience best of both worlds, essentially. So when you are going into that career mode where you're looking for that career, you're going to be able to say, I have field experience. I've been out in natural laboratories, but I also have used amazing equipment that is some of the most high tech that's accessible. Typically at larger institutions, it's also reserved for graduate students that are doing their thesis studies, their doctoral studies. Our undergraduate students are oftentimes getting hands-on with these equipments right within their first year, if not within their undergraduate degree. For our students that are pursuing a degree over on our Aurelia campus, although we don't have a natural lake and river running through campus, just down the road, about a 5-minute walk, is Scout Valley, where we often have some of our science and environmental study, as well as our health sciences teachers. We'll bring our students in and do outdoor classrooms over there to do similar research methods, or similar learning outcomes for some of these classroom environments. Heidi, did you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I was going to add that what happens with more lab-based students or programs like applied life sciences, we also draw on the environment, but on a little bit of different perspective. One example is that chemistry, analytics, toxicology, etc. So when Dr. Algar said, oh, the environment and toxicants influence what wildlife can survive or will not survive. When we want to know what's in there, what's in the water, right? Then we do toxicology analyses, chemical analyses, and that's where applied life science students would draw in. The other big area that we see in applied life sciences, we have one faculty particularly interested in that, is in the area of biorefining and bioremediation. So using biological processes to either extract valuable components from the environment, especially in Northwestern Ontario forestry is really big. So extracting materials, valuable materials from biomass is a big thing. And there is a lot of chemistry and chemical engineering types works involved in that. The other aspect that some biologists like to dig into is getting medicinally beneficial products out from natural resources. And there, then, especially when we dig with anthropology, we draw a lot on indigenous knowledge as well, and indigenous use of plants and environments, and integrate materials that way. And I think the next slide has a really fancy lab picture, right?
We do. We have the Aquatic Toxicology Research Center, and as well on the next slide, we have the materials characterization services. So I'll pass it back to you, Heidi, if you have anything to add about this, but I certainly have my notes about the Aquatic Toxicology Research Center. But I think that if you have anything to add first, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, so what Lakehead has with respect to lab facilities, we have various what we call research centers, and many of these research centers, they provide services to outside clients. And the ATRC, as we call it, is a good example of that. So they have actually fish experiments where they expose those fish to potentially toxic effluent from mines, for example. So all mines, when they produce toxic effluent that goes into the environment, that effluent needs to be tested, both chemically, so there's a chemical testing lab that does this, as well as biologically, where the fish, for example, then would be exposed to those residues to make sure they're not toxic before the mines expel them. And the next slide will have the materials testing center. We got a brand new facility that works on materials. It's a facility that's run or has researchers from chemistry and engineering, surface characterizations, and we have one chemist in that facility who works with, he runs a cyclotron facility that produces radioactive materials that are used for medical imaging. and those materials, when they're produced, they need to be designed chemically so that they can be then used in applications, usually in human application studies. So there is a very close relationship between those materials, services within the biomedical area with what we call the Thunder Bay Regional Health Research Institute, where those materials are then directly tested in animal experiments first, and then in human trials. And our hospital where that research institute is located, it's a 5-minute walk from the Thunder Bay campus. So really close interaction with the medical community as well.
For sure. And I had a few notes to add on to the Aquatic Toxicology Research Center. So this has actually been operating at Lakehead University since 1970. And the acute test, now a tool that is used to monitor environmental discharges across Canada, was actually developed at Lakehead University from the bag test, they call it, by a professor that is George Osborne in association with the Canadian Environmental Protection Services, as the only acute toxicology testing facility located between Southern Ontario and Manitoba. ATRC for short provides services for clients all over the North Shores, and like Heidi mentioned, they're testing the effects of effluents on aquatic organisms from both pulp and paper mills, mines, and then related industries that have discharges here in Northwestern Ontario. So it's really great to see. Of course, they're doing important work to make sure that they're holding the mines and pulp and paper industries accountable for what their discharges are, to make sure that they have no effects to our natural environments here, but also it provides a really unique opportunity for our students to get hands-on and see real world experience in terms of what they might do for an everyday career. Chatting, I think that's a great segue. Actually, I didn't do that on purpose, but I'll steal it like I did. Career opportunities within applied life sciences and biology. We have it broken down into 3 different areas or specializations. I do want to note before we even look at this, this is by no means an exhaustive list of the career opportunities that you could have. So you're looking at molecular biology, ecology and evolution, and bioinformatics. And we also know that based on what Lakehead University graduates have done, they've moved into careers in these fields. So these are not just a list that we've dreamt up in terms of where we hope our students are shooting for or where they're dreaming to become. These are actually where our students are going into their careers, and based on where your passions fall. So maybe if you are looking more at the molecular route, or if you're looking at bioinformatics and you like doing some more of the techie stuff and advanced computer skills, there's going to be options for you here at Lakehead University. And then post-graduation, Lakehead has a really great graduation and employment rate. So 97.7% of all of our graduates here at Lakehead University are employed within 2 years upon graduation, which is significantly higher than other Ontario universities and higher than the national average as well. I'm going to pass it over to our faculty, our special guests, to chat more about career opportunities, and then I'll share with our audience an outstanding alumni feature.
Sure, thanks, Jordan. I mean, you can see the list in front of you. I think that that really captures the kind of main options. I would say just that you never know what you're gonna be interested in, where you're gonna go, but I think that the skills and the critical thinking that you learn at Lakehead are really going to set you up for whatever field that you are interested in. And I think also, as if you're coming from, that you can think about if you're coming internationally and then you're interested in staying in the area, or you're going to go back to your home country, you're going to get those skills that you need that can transfer into different fields. And I think increasingly, one of the great things about this kind of opportunity for studying a diverse set of topics is that you need to have this broader perspective. So if you're interested in environmental health, you need to understand that biology and things I talked about, be able to identify species from the lake, but also understand the underlying kind of physiology and toxicology to understand how those link. Same if you're a conservation biologist, you need to know how to identify different species and understand their ecology, but also increasingly understand the role of genetic diversity and genetics in conservation. So you need to draw on all these different aspects of biology for whatever career that you choose. And I think we're really good here at Lakehead at giving you that opportunity to develop your expertise in a specific area, but also ensure that you have that diversity of knowledge and skills, in particularly not just the theoretical side, but the practical hands-on skills of working in the lab, in the field, and also getting involved in research while you're an undergrad, which is something that we haven't maybe talked about as much, but is really crucial, so that you're asking your own questions, learning to lead your own research project, manage the work, manage the design, sampling, analysis, and all those skills are really crucial that give you that opportunity to take forward into whatever career that you choose.
Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting more about that. I couldn't agree more about that interdisciplinary focus, or rather the interdisciplinary opportunities that you have within applied life sciences and biology that are also going to lend really well to being able to apply a wide range of foundational knowledge in whatever career path or ongoing education that you pursue following your Lakehead degree. Chatting about one of our biology graduates, we have Erica Harrell, who has always had a passion for animals and knew from day one, essentially, that she wanted to turn that passion for animals into a career. And so at Lakehead University, she said that she had access to exceptional laboratory environments as early as first year, as well as supportive faculty, and build the skill set that she needed to pursue a career in veterinary medicine. And so that just goes to show you that this is one example of a student that didn't necessarily go right into a career, certainly had a career path in mind, but used the power of her Lakehead degree to get into a veterinary medicine school, which here in Canada and Ontario is highly competitive, but our graduates are often going into those next level of postgraduate degrees, whether it's going to be JD Law, whether it's going to be a medical degree, whether it's veterinary medicine, optometry, the list goes on, and in terms of professional degrees that you may be pursuing following an undergrad. But we certainly have our students going there. And so that's something to note. I do want to open the floor to questions. I know that we have one currently there from a student that would like to know how many seats are available for international students in practical nursing. So here at Lakehead University, the number of seats related to your status of whether you're a Canadian student or an international student is actually not relevant. What we'll do is we'll take all of our applicants and we convert them into a single applicant pool. And then for our undergraduate studies, for a vast majority of them, we'll do rolling admissions basis. So as students apply, we do our best to review them within 4 to 6 weeks of a complete application, and then let them know what our offer of admission or decision is on that application. For our graduate students, similar, there's no restriction in terms of whether you're international or Canadian, and the number of students that we try and fill for those seats. It's based on the candidate pool, and of course, the experience and as well as your academic history, what you're bringing to the table, essentially. Something to note here, practical nursing is not necessarily offered here at Lakehead University. We do have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, which will allow you to become a registered nurse here in Canada and Ontario. Practical nursing is considered something an RPN, registered practical nurse, and that's offered typically by Canadian colleges. So I'll continue to welcome our audience members. If you have questions about Lakehead University, I'm more than happy to always answer those. But of course, if you have any questions specifically about applied life sciences or biology, now is your opportunity to have direct access to some of our faculty members. In the meantime, I do want to remind our viewers to stay connected and follow us on social media channels. So you can find us at Lakehead International on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you want to check out our campuses, I know we talked a lot about how amazing the nature is that surrounds us, but also the buildings and some of those labs that we've talked about. If you head over to lakeheadu.ca/tours, you can take a virtual campus tour here in Thunder Bay or Orillia, all from the comfort of your own home, which is always great. So whether you want to do it on your own or gather your family around a computer, all the power to you. And last but not least, I want to encourage our viewers, if you have an opportunity or you have your phone handy and you're watching from a laptop or desktop, take a scan of that QR code there or visit the following website, lakeheadu.ca /international-live. It's going to bring you to our events landing page, and you can see all of our upcoming webinars where you get to learn more about Lakehead University, the supports, the services, the opportunities you have available here. And like I said at the beginning of our session, in the month of May, we have 4 very exciting sessions coming up that we have not yet announced or released, but I continue to remind our viewers that we have a really exciting announcement coming out, ideally this week, if not next week. So I'm just going to flip over to the Q&A. Thank you for joining us, Anton Preet. Awesome. It looks like we answered most of the questions throughout our session today and maybe behind the scenes in the chat. So to our viewers, once again, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure hosting you. To our special guests, it's always a pleasure having you join our sessions and share your insight into the various programs and opportunities that we have. On that note, we do have maybe one more question that just came up, so I certainly don't want to jump past that. It says, I'm on a pre-med track. Can you please tell me whether or not if APLS will be the best major? So I'll pass that one over to Heidi to chat about whether or not we've had students in APLS move on to medical degrees here in Canada.
We have had students both in the biology major as well as in the APLS major move on to get admitted to medical school, to pretty much all the professional schools. So either pathway, either program is suitable for you to get into medical school. My recommendation for choice would be whether you are more interested and apt into the cell molecular heavier chemistry aspects of biology and biological sciences, or whether you are actually quite intrigued by the opportunity to explore the broad spectrum of biology. So look at both the cell molecular and the outdoor field experience at the same time in your program. And I say that because medical school and all professional schools are very competitive, right? So that means you need to have good grades. So good grades, yes, it takes a lot of work. How do you get enthusiastic about doing good work is when the program, the courses you take are the types of courses you enjoy, you're interested in, you like. So that's why it doesn't matter whether it says APLS or biology on your transcript in the end. What matters is that you enjoyed your program, that you thrived in it, and get those grades and all the other skills you need to become a well-rounded individual to then make it into professional school.
Awesome. I could not have said it better myself. And on that note, it looks like we have answered all the open questions. So to our faculty and our staff, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I keep doing it to myself here. We did get one more question, so we have a few more minutes. I do want to take the opportunity to answer. It says, what do I need to do when I don't get a response regarding my chosen thesis topic? How do I get the doctor to reply? And what do I do if I don't get a response? I'm applying for a graduate program in biology. So that's a really good question. What I encourage you to do, if you haven't heard back from that faculty member quite yet, you can certainly connect with our administrative assistant in the Department of Biology or potentially in the Faculty of Science and Environmental Studies. Oftentimes, if you connect with them, they may be able to hunt down that faculty member or chat further with that faculty member and ideally get a response from them. If you still haven't heard back from them, you can always connect with your international recruitment advisor. So we have folks based around the world and they're more than happy to do that connection or make that connection on your behalf to start the conversation between the two of you.
Could I just jump in on that?
Of course,
really quickly. I know we're tight for time, but I think it's a great question. I think that, one thing, I don't know if you've been contacting or how you have, but I would say that I get about 10 a week from prospective students who are interested in doing a master's. And most of them aren't really suitable for my lab and my research. They have maybe a background in genomics or cell biology and toxicology, and that's not what I do. So, I try to reply to all and say, I'm sorry, that's not really what I'm interested in. But I think the number one thing that you can do is really make it clear to the person when you email them that you really want to work with their research area and with them. So make sure it's a personal kind of, that show that you've read a bit of their research, you're interested in what they do and how your kind of background and interests particularly fit with their research group, and don't just send a generic email that says I'm interested in graduate studies and in what you do, but personalize it and show that you've done the background work to think why it would be a great fit. And that can make a real difference in getting a quick and kind of like meaningful response from a faculty member.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that advice. I'll certainly pass that along to our future students and viewers if they have similar questions. Heidi, did you have anything to add for that?
No, I think Adam hit the point right there.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good, folks. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for checking out today's video. If you have any questions, you can always comment below. Stay connected and follow us on our social media channels to stay informed about upcoming webinars and get an insider sneak peek of Lakehead University. See you next time.